I watched my neighbor turn into something that wasn't human, and it looked back at me like it knew I'd seen. It was just a Tuesday, completely normal. I was taking the trash out to the curb around 11:30 p.m. I've lived here for 5 years and nothing ever happens on this street. The street lights were flickering like they always do. I was wrestling with a heavy bag when my headphones died. The silence was sudden. It was too quiet. No crickets. No distant highway hum. I reached for the bin lid and stopped. There was a sound. A single, heavy thud from the shadows near my fence. It sounded like something very large had just dropped from a branch onto the grass. It didn't move again. No rustling. No breathing. Just that dead weight hitting the ground. I didn't look. I just went inside. It didn't stop after that night. That's the thing that gets me. It became a rhythm. 3 nights later, I was sitting in my living room with the TV on low. Usually, you hear the neighborhood dogs yapping at the wind or a car door slamming down the block. Not that night. Everything just cut out. It was like someone turned off the sound to the whole world. I felt the hair on my arms stand up before I even heard it. A slow, heavy scrape against the siding of the house. Just once. My chest tightened so hard I could barely pull air in. I sat frozen, staring at the drawn curtains, my heart hammering hard against my ribs. I didn't move for 10 minutes. Then, the next night, it was the porch. I was reaching for the door handle when I felt it. Something was standing just past the edge of the light. I couldn't see it, but I could feel the weight of it. Felt massive. Not like a person. Not like a deer. It was just there, watching me from the dark. My muscles were so locked up I thought they would snap. I didn't breathe. I just stared into the blackness until my eyes burned. The air felt heavy, like it was pushing against my skin. Then the tension just snapped. The crickets started up again. A dog barked 3 houses down. Whatever had been standing there was gone. I tried to ignore it. I really did. I told myself it was just a stray dog or a coyote that had gotten too bold. But the nights started changing first. I couldn't sleep worth a damn. I'd drift off for maybe 20 minutes. Then I'd bolt upright, heart slamming against my ribs for absolutely no reason. It was always at the same time, 3:14 a.m. Every single night. My phone screen would glow in the dark. I'd just stare at those digital numbers, paralyzed, waiting for a sound that never came. I was exhausted, but my brain wouldn't shut down. Then the physical symptoms started creeping in. My head felt like it was caught in a vice. Constant pressure behind my eyes. Aspirin didn't touch it. My ears wouldn't stop ringing. It was a high-pitched whine that made it hard to focus on anything. I'd be sitting at my desk. Suddenly, my chest would tighten. A burst of adrenaline so sharp it felt like I was about to jump out of my skin. For what? Nothing. I was just sitting there. I started obsessing over the house. I checked the window locks 4 times every night. One morning, I found these deep marks in the mud near the fence line, long and narrow, like something heavy had been standing upright and shifting its weight. I told myself the rain had distorted some old dog tracks, but I knew it hadn't rained. I stopped looking at my reflection in the windows. Once I caught a glimpse of something tall in the glass, right behind my own shoulder. I turned around so fast I nearly hit the floor. Nothing was there, just the empty hallway. I went to the grocery store just to get out. I felt it there too. That same heavy weight on my neck followed me back. It's not just staying in the neighbor's yard anymore. It's right outside my bedroom window now. I couldn't just sit there. I started digging. Late nights hunched over my laptop, the screen light burning my eyes. I searched for everything. Strange animal sounds, tall things in the yard, silent dogs. I found myself on these old, archived message boards. Threads from 10, 15 years ago. People in rural Ohio. People in the woods of Maine. Same stories. Always the same. They'd talk about the heavy silence before things got weird. They'd describe something that looked like a large dog but stood up like a man. Standing wrong, one guy called it. I saw the word werewolf typed out exactly once in a thread about missing livestock. My stomach dropped. I didn't want it to be that. Not the movie version. This was different. This was patient. I read through dozens of accounts where people reported their neighbors acting strange, or pets disappearing without a drop of blood left behind. Different states, different decades, the same pattern of escalation. It always starts with the watching, then the pacing, then the proximity. I stopped scrolling when I realized something. None of these threads had a happy ending. The posters just stopped posting. The stories never concluded with the thing leaving. They concluded with silence. And that's when I knew. Once you see the pattern, you're already part of it. I realize now it isn't random. It isn't just some animal wandering through. Picked me. Or maybe I picked it by being exactly who I am. I'm isolated. I live at the end of the cul-de-sac where the streetlights don't reach. I live alone. No dog to alert me. I stay up late every night with only a blue monitor for company. It watched my routines for weeks before I noticed the silence. It knows I take the trash out at 11:30 p.m. It knows I check the mail in the dark. My habits are a map for it. I stopped saying anything out loud. I read that acknowledging it makes it worse, but I already crossed that line. Every time I peered into the woods, I was inviting it closer. I was showing it that I was aware. Now, my life has shifted just to accommodate it. I don't go into the kitchen after 9 p.m. because that window has no curtain. I can't stand the thought of washing a glass and seeing those eyes reflected in the dark pane. I don't look in the hallway mirror at night. Keep my head down. I've become hyper-aware of every single vibration in the house. I know the difference between the house settling and a heavy footfall on the porch. I know the sound of a branch hitting the roof versus a claw scraping the shingles. It's become normal. That's the scariest part. I don't panic. I just adjust my posture. I turn the volume up on the TV to drown out the heavy breathing outside. My personality is eroding. I'm just a series of survival instincts now. I don't plan for the future. I just plan for the next 10 minutes of silence. Adapting to this nightmare is actually worse than fearing it. I'm not a person anymore. I'm just prey that learned how to hide. The power went out around midnight. Total darkness. No streetlights, no TV hum, nothing. I should have stayed in bed. I should have kept my eyes shut and waited for morning. But I heard it right under my bedroom window. Just breathing. Slow, heavy exhales that rattled the glass. I didn't panic. I just felt this cold weight in my gut. I reached out and pulled the edge of the curtain back just an inch. I saw it standing there in the moonlight. It was too tall. Its shoulders were too broad for any man, but it was standing perfectly upright, balanced. It wasn't some wild animal. It was waiting. Then it turned its head. It didn't growl. It didn't lunge. It just looked directly into my eyes like it had been waiting for that exact moment of recognition. The air in the room suddenly felt freezing. I realized then that the locks didn't matter anymore. I had looked. I had acknowledged what it was. The boundary was gone. I don't know how long it's been since the power came back. Maybe a day. Maybe 3. Time doesn't feel real anymore. The sun comes up and goes down. But I just sit in the living room and watch the shadows stretch across the floor until they swallow the furniture. The fear isn't sharp anymore. It's just a dull, heavy habit. I don't check the locks because they're irrelevant. I don't even look toward the window. I just sit in the dark and listen to the footsteps on the porch. Slow, deliberate. They stop right at the door and stay there until the sun comes up. I'm starting to realize it isn't waiting for a chance to break in and kill me. It's waiting for me to stop being afraid so it can finally show me what I'm supposed to become. The distance between us isn't safety. It's just an invitation to step out.